Hello there and welcome back. So in this part we're going to work on the radiator to fit in this section here. Off camera what I did do is I just copied and pasted some more of these little ceiling lights, the small versions, and rotated them 180 degrees pointing upwards, stuck them in the floor there, and then just used that boolean technique from the ceiling just to cut out the holes in there. And then I just went over to the original geo layer, and in there we had a glazing room geo, which was just this polygon here which we had before we sunk it down. So I just copied and pasted that into a layer called floor glazing and just gave it about 5mm of thickness. That's going to be for the glass. I also did the candles, but I didn't bother doing these on shot. I'll just show you how I did them. It's very simple. The candle itself came in from the standard modo assets, and that did have a little sort of base for the candle to sit on, which I just basically deleted. And this was just a cylinder. I'll turn the sub D off. You can see it was just a cylinder, and I just beveled in that sort of distance and just extruded it up, and then just put some curve on the top. Okay. So at the moment these are out of sync with the candles. When they're sub-D'd, they're not sub-D'd, sub-D'd, not sub-D'd. So basically we're going to have it so these are not sub-D'd. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to just select those bases and we hit tab. Now everything is sub-D'd at the same time. Okay, so here's the radiator where it's going to fit. And I've got a couple of images for you to see. Now that block is just made basically from these sort of dimensions there. Nothing too drastic, and this is how it's going to look. Now this is all curvy here, but in our version we're going to make ours quite square just because the rest of the scene is square. So we're not really going to follow this too much, just how things fit to the wall more than anything, how it's laid out. So we're going to keep them as a sort of generic reference, but nothing more than that. I'm just first going to measure this. I can't remember if I. Mil, yeah. Excuse me. I apologise for my throat in advance today. It's getting a bit sore with the old flu. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more weight on that. Okay, now it's basically made out of some sort of pipe work. So I'm going to get some cylinders. Now I'm going to do this in sub D, so I'm not too. I don't want too many sides because that's just going to cause problems when I'm cutting everything together. So I'm just going to place them like that for now. Let's copy another one. Actually, we'll just put them right against the edge. Okay. Now I'm going to take another one. Sort of like that. And now I'm thinking we'll get scale tool. I'm going to scale it in these two axes. Just like that. Okay. Let's give it another. So that's basically where it's going to sit. Now, these aren't going to be extruding out of here. So I'm going to pull them in. Right, let's get them back up there. We'll do these in one foul swoop using the scale tool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring them back to about, so it's almost touching. So I don't want it quite touching, just off. Maybe like that. And the same with this one. So we're going to cut these in. I'm not sure what we're really going to do about this top one. We'll have a little experiment. Let's just delete those caps. So we're going to just select both of them and we'll hit the bridge. Now we need to make this a bit more curved. So we've got it on mode curve. Now if you add a segment, you can see it put one in the middle. And this is going to be sub-D'd, so let's take the segment out and try it. Okay, that might be better. We'll just do a quick test before we get any further forward. I'm just going to loop around there, Alt-C. I'm just going to put an edge in there. I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm just doing it's just a test really, just to see if I can get a nice curve. Yeah, curve's definitely possible. Okay, so I'm just going to undo all these changes and leave it like that, because we know we're going to come back to that, because that's going to be an easier bit for us to finish. So now we need to cut these. We'll start cutting these bits together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to Basic Tools, Slice. We'll turn the snapping grid on. I'm going to cut along there. Along there. Now I'll do one of these, then I'll do the other one off camera, because they do take quite a while, as you know. Okay, so we need another one in the middle. Like so. Now we'll do this one first. So this point's obviously going to go with there. That point's obviously going to go with there. That point's obviously going to go with there. So I'm just going to delete these faces. Make sure you've deleted the end cap. Get rid of those ones as well. We'll just try selecting both of those segments there, and we can try bridging them. Now, as you can see, it does quite a good job, but it doesn't get it consistent. You know, it's put pieces in there, but it's done a good job around the top. As you can see, it's made a little triangle there, but this side has done it differently, so that's sped up our workflow a little bit. But I want to keep it all, just so when we go to sub D, there's no difference between one side and the other side. So I'm just going to come around like that. Okay. Now we'll go over to sub D. And we've got a nice curve there. It's a bit loose at the moment. So we need to get the edges. Come over to edges, duplicate. Stick one in there, and that'll tighten that up. Now if you want a different curve, you can just move it about a bit. Now you could do with having one the other way as well. In fact, you could have one around all these loops to make it even better. Like even that one you can add a slice. As long as you get the distances there roughly the same. You can do the same with this bottom one as well. Then you can get a nice bed. You still get a little kink around there. Now what you can do if you want, you can put another edge loop around here. I'll do it as a test just to see. You may be able to just use this, hit C, and sort of obviously spend a bit more time than what I'm doing there. Just to get things a bit more even. And then you can change the shape. And you could even take these points here, these two, and that should get rid of that square nature. Plus that will just sort of tighten everything up a wee bit. Okay. So you can see you can get quite nice blends in. You're always going to get a bit, you can see it's a nice curve, you're always going to get a bit, there's a slight bulge there. That's just because you've got this point which is slightly bulging out here. So you can, you could just pull those in a bit if you want, but to be honest, from sort of back here you're not really going to see, like if it is a close-up shot, I'll probably get these points, just move them in, just so there's a natural curve in those edges. Okay, but we're not going to worry too much for this. So I'll pause the video now and I'll go around and I'll just do the same for that one, blend that one in. I'll split these ones as well and join those ones in, and I'll just put a curve on the top there. Then when we come back we'll start doing the bits towards the walls and putting the taps on. So I'll see you for that part. Bye.